Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Hey guys, welcome in and a happy Monday to you now here. The 6th of March. Yes, madness. It is almost upon us and we love every damn minute of it. But we still have some conference tournaments kicking off this week. Plenty of them, in fact. We've got a few games lined up in the Western Conference we're going to talk about here tonight. Also, we got another big semifinal to go over. So plenty of action on the college hoops slate tonight and, of course, all week. And to help us narrow the field down here on tonight's card, three of the finest over at WagerTalk.com as we welcome in Double R1L, Steve Merrill in the house, Tony Finn. Figured out how to get here, so that's always a pleasure. Finn, good to see you. And, of course, coming to a gymnasium near you at some point, I'm sure, is the one and only Mr. Adam Trigger, ready to roll here, gentlemen, on a Monday, a $9 Monday, Merrill. So without busting out the abacus here, tell me exactly how you split $9 into 6 plays. What do you got going on tonight for us?
Yeah, keep it simple, Joe. That's my motto. But, you know, I'm a big believer in $9 Monday, but I always like to do better. So we made it $4.50 Monday because I've got 2 strong NBA best bets, and you better pay attention. I know we're talking college hoops. I'm going to have a free college basketball play at the end of the show, my top opinion in college hoops tonight. But the NBA has been fantastic this year. In fact, I'm number 1 on sides and number 1 on totals in 2023 at WagerTalk.com. I've got 2 strong NBA best bets. $9 Monday. They're each $9, or get the 2-for-1 special and make it $4.50 Monday. And talking about college hoops, Selection Sunday's right around the corner, as you said. My free contest is locked and loaded right now. Don't miss out. Enter right now. If you pick enough questions right, they're all Selection Sunday questions. Which teams will make it? Which teams will be seated higher? If you pick enough right, free to enter. Win anywhere from 1 date up to 1 year, a $2,000 value of all my best bets for the next 365 days. Free to enter. Do it right after the show. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Writing all of that down. Hold on, Steve. All right, we're good to go. There we've got, we keep it simple. And then all of a sudden now I'm picking winners of all content. I don't know what the hell just happened there. So talk to me here, Tony Finn. Bring it back to us, because I know whether it's the NBA, it's an intriguing card tonight, but obviously a lot of opportunities on the college slate as well. Do you have anything ready to roll for a $9 Monday?
I have actually, as we were talking, as soon as the show's over, I'll wrap things up. But I have 3 conference tournament futures winners in the respective conference tournaments this week. And I have 2 NBA waiting on 1 injury report. But as far as the cards go, I think the NBA is very attractive. That college, a little skimpy, but we've got some good games to talk about, and a free pick at the end of this program.
All right, see, we got a little something for everyone here. And Trig, welcome in. A happy Monday, man, and great weekend, profitable weekend for you. And I know you got to have something on this card ready to go for a $9 Monday tonight, no?
Yeah, I've got a 4% college basketball best bet. It's up for $9. It's been an awesome run, Joe. Probably my best week of the season. Well, not probably. It definitely was. Extended back to last week. I'm 16-2 in college basketball. It's been going really good. 4-0 Saturday. Another winner yesterday. So, as we can only hope, hopefully it keeps going. I got 1 play up for tonight. Haven't decided if I'm going to add anything else yet, but you can get that for $9. And I've got a pretty strong opinion that I will share with you on the show today. So yeah, it's March. March Madness specials up for all of us. So check out everyone's page if you want to take advantage of that. And like I said, hopefully we can keep rolling the rest of the month.
Yep, going to be a whole lot of fun here, guys. This is this final push before Selection Sunday. And then, of course, the madness begins. So a lot of great opportunities on the card between now and then. Let us start tonight out west with the West Coast Conference here as BYU will be taking on the Saint Mary Gales here in the semifinal. Vegas, I believe, Thomas and Mack. At the Orleans. That's right. Thomas and Mack is the Mountain West. But we've got a 6.5, 7 now up to St. Mary's, 128.5. Is that total? That's come down just a hair from the open this morning, 9 o'clock Eastern time tip. And, what do you got here, Merrill? Because it's intriguing given the fact that I feel like BYU's been playing in this tournament for like a month now. And here they go. They got another game they got to get through before they have to eventually try to win this thing in a final. Or does their Western Conference season end here tonight against St. Mary's?
Well, you're getting 3 expert opinions on this game here on the panel today. And don't forget, Marco D'Angelo also talked about this game on Wager Talk today earlier. So go back and watch the replay of that show. It was a Prez-free zone, so it's safe to watch with your loved ones. Teddy Covers and I will be on there all week. Marco broke this game down. I won't do a spoiler alert which way he was leaning in it, but it was good analysis. First thing that jumps out to me about this, of course, St. Mary's in general is always a slow-down half-court team, well-coached team with Randy Bennett. Very rarely am I looking to fade him in serious situations. And there is a huge look ahead, obviously, for this game and also the next game we're going to talk about, because most likely it's going to be St. Mary's and Gonzaga tomorrow in the finals. And that, of course, is what everybody wants. That's what the conference wants. And that's, I also believe, why the double bye is what we see here, because they want these powerhouse teams to have an easier path. BYU plays fast, and it's tough for these teams to play multiple games in a row when you play fast. So a slowdown team like St. Mary's, if they get Gonzaga tomorrow night, I won't be on the show. Maybe they'll talk about it on the show here. We will have a fast versus a slow, but we have that tonight with BYU against St. Mary's. So I always like teams that can slow it down. And something else we talked about on Wager Talk today, go back and watch the episode. Some good insight in conference tournaments in general. Teddy and I talked about the CAA is a textbook this weekend. The 4 teams that played on Saturday all won big, and then they played the 4 rested teams yesterday, and those rested teams went 4-0 straight up in ATS, including some blowouts. William and Mary won by 22 Saturday. They lost by 48 yesterday. So don't read much into like recent momentum or current form. St. Mary's is the better team. They might be looking ahead to tomorrow, but I still think they get the winning covered.
All right, St. Mary's it is here. Finn, you agree? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, St. Mary's?
I believe, listen, I faded. I was one of those that did not think St. Mary's was going to be at the top of the conference this year. And early in the season, I realized that I was wrong. And I had kind of strayed, should I say, from Bennett and Mary's, et cetera, but I didn't stray from fading BYU. This team is about as inconsistent. You'll read how they play down to the lower part of the conference. And then, and if you look at some of the point spreads of the margin of loss against some of the upper tier in this conference, they played well, lost 1-1, et cetera, all within, they were all single-digit losses. However, this team's undisciplined. They're reckless with the basketball. It's just not the typical BYU team. The last game I actually watched was the Pepperdine game, and I mean one of the worst teams in the conference just schooled BYU. I didn't just school them. I mean, they embarrassed them. I like St. Mary's tonight. I don't like laying that many points with St. Mary's, but I like St. Mary's.
So, Trigger, I think you watched BYU, didn't you? One of the games early on in the year. Did you get a chance to see them, was it?
Yeah, I saw BYU way early in November. It caused me to kind of watch them closely and watch some of the changes they made throughout the season, which, in my opinion, were for the better. Actually, I don't think it was that hard to figure out they were for the better, right? They lost 6 games in the non-conference and had a couple ugly losses, but they definitely improved as the season went on. And actually, I wanted to play BYU here So I'm going to give the contrarian opinion, but I'm going to also kind of tell you why I'm not playing it. So, it's not going to put me on St. Mary's, but listen, BYU 6 games against ranked opponents. They've covered all 6. They won against Creighton. They covered against San Diego State, and they actually covered all 4 meetings this regular season against Gonzaga and Saint Mary's, despite not winning a single one. They should have won one of the ones against Saint Mary's. I believe they lost the buzzer. And actually, they had a buzzer beater loss to Gonzaga as well. The reason that you're not going to find me with a BYU plus 6.5 or 7 ticket here is because I'm just not sure I want to back them against a rested St. Mary's team off of them playing multiple days in a row. The other guys already referenced the way this tournament is set up. It really is set up to have the 2 better teams or the better teams that reach the final. And I do think it's almost the mental fatigue that would concern me more here than the physical fatigue, because St. Mary's is not going to run you up and down the floor. BYU is not going to be physically tired, but if you're not mentally focused against St. Mary's, they will slice you up and it'll be hard to get back in the game. Now, Joe, the reason I'm not going to lay 7 with St. Mary's is because they go cold. They can't help themselves from going cold, and it happens most games. If you go back to the first meeting against BYU that they should have won, St. Mary's was controlling that game and then suddenly didn't score for 9 minutes. And all of a sudden BYU was in the lead. So I can't lay 7 with St. Mary's knowing that that's not only a possibility, that it's probably likely that it happens at some point. But on the flip side, if BYU's not like laser focused here, which is possible, they're now playing their 3rd game in 4 days, St. Mary's might be able to extend that lead. And then you always have to worry about if it gets like, then there's like the give up factor. If they are tired and they do fall down or fall behind like 10 late in the game, do they just mail it in at the end? And then suddenly St. Mary's kind of gets their easy cover. It's possible. There is a move to the under here, Joe, which makes those 7 points that much more valuable, but just wasn't enough to get me to the window. So I leaned by BYU. I thought I might, have a play on them today, but there's just too much that puts me off not wanting to go against St. Mary's here. So lean to BYU, but I can't bet this one. There's just too many moving parts, in the tournament, if you will, to get me off of this.
Yeah, it maybe better just look at this game first half, second half kind of perspective there, or just wait until the game starts and maybe a little run by BYU. And guess what? You can get St. Mary's at a hell of a lot better price than 7. So we'll see how that rolls here tonight, guys. That's game 1 in that Western Conference semi. The other game is going to be right after that. And surprise, Gonzaga is taking on the Dons here. It is 2 touchdowns. This was a little bit higher, too. I saw 15 overnight, 14 now, maybe even a 13.5 showing up in a book or two. 161 is that total. Really, that shouldn't shock anybody here. But it's that number, that 14. It's not like the Zags, and we've talked about it all year long. Zags started out getting these monster spreads early on, and they couldn't cover anything. And by the way, 12-17-1 against the number is how they ended up here, Merrill. They've been playing their best basketball, but do we trust them to beat San Francisco by 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, and by the way, going back the last few seasons, BYU 5-0 ATS against St. Mary's. So like Trig was saying, they are covering but not winning a lot of games against these good teams. And this is a bigger concern in this game. I mentioned that because they were a 7-point favorite, but now you've got Gonzaga, as you said, Joe, a 14.5-point favorite. Oof. So they could obviously win this game by 10, 12 points, be up by 17, take their foot off the gas to rest for tomorrow, win by 13. So I don't think it's a question who's going to win this game. It's going to be Gonzaga. But if they win by margin's a concern. But still, I don't like the back underdogs that I'm hoping can just cover or stay within the number. And that is why we've seen this line go higher. And there's another reason we've seen this line go from the opener of 12.5 up to 14, 14.5. And it's not just because Gonzaga's rested. San Francisco's playing their 3rd game in 3 nights, just like BYU. But it's even tougher for San Francisco. They're coming off a double overtime game against Santa Clara yesterday in the quarterfinals. So now they're playing their 3rd in 3 nights after a double OT. So it's almost like 4 in 3 nights. It's a 3.5 in 3 nights, if you will. And this is a San Francisco team that relies heavily on the three-point shot. They take 28 threes a game. Tired legs does not help your outside shooting. I know this from experience. I'm sure Robert will pull the video clip at some point. That one miss, the only miss I had, by the way, in the Wager Talk meet and greet was late in the game. And you get the tired legs. But San Francisco's taken 63 pointers the last 2 games. They've taken 60, and they've shot extremely well. In fact, they need double overtime to win yesterday, despite shooting 14 for 27, 52% from 3. That's not a good sign. I don't think you can rely on that kind of shooting in your 3rd and 3 nights now. So it's Gonzaga or pass for me in this one. As far as the total, 2 fast up-tempo teams. We saw it open 160.5. It's up to 161 in some spots. Some of the more respected offshores that I look at are still 160.5. So I do think there's a little bit of a sharp lean to the under. But once again, 2 fast-paced teams and the number 1 efficiency offense in the country in Gonzaga makes it pretty hard to say an under unless, once again, those outside shots are not falling for San Fran. Therefore, I think Gonzaga laying the points is probably the safest play.
And that's a lot of points, too. 161. And if the Dons ain't hitting threes, woo, they're going to be a struggle getting to 161, Finn. What are you thinking, though? Are you buying the Zags to run away with this thing and the points won't matter? Or is it dog or pass for you here?
First, I'm going to have a talk with Steve Merrill. You know, our legs aren't near what they were when we were 40.
Oh, yeah.
45.
That ship has sailed is what you're saying.
I'm 35, Tony.
It doesn't matter how much rest I've had. I need mother's little helper or twice double dose to have my legs be fresh. But let's get with the game here. This is really an interesting game. When I looked at this game, I thought, well, if these two match up again, Joe, and like you said, if the Dons can shoot the 3 and have fresh legs and out-rebound the Bulldogs, as they did in that January 5th meeting, if you remember, like plus 19 or plus 20, a rebounding margin with 13 offensive boards. If they duplicate that and they shoot well from 3, then this is a game. You're taking the points and you're loving every minute of it. However, that double overtime, as has been mentioned here, is a little concerning, especially against a Gonzaga team that you said, Joe, they're playing their best basketball right now. Really, they are. They haven't played a meaningful game. That's the problem, is they haven't played a meaningful game since Saint Mary. So what do you do here? I mean, are they going to take their foot off the pedal? This is a tough. You're supposed to just love 2 touchdowns, right? I hesitate because of what's happened, where we are, and will, if Zags get a lead, rest their starters and let that 20-point lead end up being a 10-point lead when it's all said and done. If I'm going to lean here, I'm going to lead with the Zags. I really am, but I'm not on this game. Probably won't be.
Trig, you ain't in the mood to lay 14. I know that. But I know the Dons are. It's funny because they've had a nice season. They won 20 games, I think. I don't even see anybody having them even considered to be on the bubble. So they got to win to have any shot at making it. So I don't expect them to give up here, but man, that's a lot of points. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, you can't, in my opinion, you can't lay 14.5 with Gonzaga. If you were going to lay the points with Gonzaga, you needed to do it overnight or this morning when you could have got 12. It doesn't mean it's the wrong side. It just means that right now I'd have to look at San Francisco or pass. You look at the 2 meetings, like San Francisco earlier this year had Gonzaga on the ropes. So it was a 2-point game. The return meeting, Gonzaga blew them out. I think it was like 99 to 81 or something crazy like that. So I'm just going to focus on the total because I do have a take here. Joe, first of all, if San Francisco wants to have any shot in this game, then this game has to go under because it's going to be to their benefit, especially considering they've just played a couple games, to limit the number of possessions that occur in this game. So that's it. Just take anything else out of the picture. San Francisco is going to benefit from fewer possessions in this game. Now, whether they can hang around with Gonzaga is totally yet to be determined. I mean, this could be a low possession game and they could still get absolutely killed. Gonzaga, actually, I think there's I think they might oblige here, Joe, and play fewer possessions for a couple of reasons. One, it's not like a do or die game for Gonzaga. And that's where you get into these smaller conferences. Usually these games are do or die. They're not tonight for St. Mary's or Gonzaga because they're both going to the NCAA tournament regardless. Gonzaga knows they have to play St. Mary's tomorrow night, and they know St. Mary's is going to put them in the half court and make them play slow. So you never know. They might just use this game as a tune-up to say, let's see if we can go play half court. Maybe we don't have to run back and forth knowing we have a game tomorrow night because they know they can run with teams. And they know that a week from now in the NCAA tournament, they might run into teams that play a different style where they might need to execute in the half court. So if you get Gonzaga willing to play slower, and again, I could be wrong about this. San Francisco might come out and try to run up and down. But, Joe, if they do that, they're going to get crushed. They've already proven they're going to get crushed because they tried to do that with Gonzaga a couple weeks ago and lost by almost 20 in a game where there was like 180 points. So I think it benefits San Francisco to slow this game down if they can. I don't necessarily think Gonzaga needs to run up and down the floor and score 100 here. I just don't know that that's just going to be their MO tonight. So I would say that sharp lean to the under is probably correct. I think 160 and a half. 161 is probably too many. You're going to need an ultra efficient game to get up and over that number. So I lean toward the under here. I actually think we might see fewer possessions than expected, and it probably stays under, even if it's a high scoring game. You can get in the 150s and still cash this under. So that's the way I'm going to look here.
It's a great point. I mean, the style points aren't coming into it for Gonzaga, so there is no reason for them to do anything here except just win and get ready for the next game. That's it. So 11:30, guys. That's going to be the late night degenerate special here tonight. Out west, there is Gonzaga round 3 taking on the Dons of San Francisco. We do have a semifinal game coming up here in the horizon as we've got Northern Kentucky taking on top-seeded Youngstown State. 3.5 is what they are laying on this one. Total is 138 here. Both of these teams, I believe they both won a game against each other here this year. So now tiebreaker time. Who are you giving the edge to here, Merrill? Is it Youngstown State or is the Norse getting your vote?
Number 1 seeded Youngstown State, and Adam Trigger is repping them on his sweatshirt today, which I like. And this game, at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight in Indianapolis. A little bit of money coming in on Youngstown. Open 2.5. It's up to 3.5 now. 139. Yeah. There it is. Look at that chest. My goodness. 139.5 down to 138 on the total. So we've seen a little bit of money on the favorite, Youngstown, a little bit of money on the under. Should be a competitive game, obviously. We look at the regular season head-to-heads, which I like to do. They did play twice. They played in early December, so I think we have to be careful reading too much into that game. It was a home win by Northern Kentucky as a 1-point favorite. What did jump out to me in that game was that Northern Kentucky only shot 36% from the field, still won. And that's because they took 7 more threes, made 4 more of them than Youngstown. In the rematch in early February, Youngstown got their revenge and then some, won by 18 as a 3.5-point favorite, outshot Northern Kentucky 59 to 32%. And once again, they took less threes, made more. So the two teams that lost the 2 regular season meetings shot 27 and 26% for 3. So once again, as is the case with many of these one-and-dones, if you can predict the 3-point margin, you're going to probably have the winner here. On the season, Northern Kentucky does take a little bit more threes than Youngstown. They're both pretty mediocre. Northern Kentucky's 3-point defense is pretty weak. I'll agree with the line move here. I'll go with the number 1 seed, the better team, to win the rubber match here, minus the 3.5 in Youngstown. Nothing super strong for me, but that'd be the way I'd lean.
You agree, Finn? Is it the number 1 seed for you to advance for a final?
Imagine this conference, number 1 versus number 4, number 2 versus the top 4 seeds advance to the Final Four. It hasn't happened in this conference in a long time. But I agree with Steve completely. The first meeting between these two teams was a bit of an aberration. Early in the season, the Penguins commit like 24 turnovers. I think that's what it was. I don't have the stats in front of me, but there's a lot of reasons to like Youngstown State here. A lot of reasons. The fact is that neither one of these teams are very good shooting the basketball effectively. If you look at the weighted metrics, they rank in the bottom 25% of Division I basketball. That's a problem. It's a problem having to cover a big number. It's not a big number to cover here. And the truth is, the difference in this game is going to be turnovers. Who's going to protect the ball? I'll give Coach Calhoun a lot of credit. He made some really good adjustments. If you believe what I believe, and these two teams are close, who's better pre-flop in game making adjustments? I'm going to give Coach Calhoun, the edge here for the Penguins. And the truth is, Northern Kentucky does not finish very well at the rim. And I think in this game, a low-scoring game, like it's who is effective around the rim, in the paint. The Penguins, 31 of 46 in the two meetings at the rim. Give me Calhoun and Youngstown State minus the number.
Woo! All right, Youngstown State, another team, Trig, I believe you had an opportunity to check out early on in the season, and I remember you coming and saying, this is going to be a pretty good team this year, and they are. They, number one seed. Now they're a win away from making it to the final. Do they get that win tonight?
Yeah, Joe, I actually saw Youngstown play the very first night of the season. They played at Canisius. I was extremely impressed. I got this hoodie at the Beagley Center a couple weeks ago when I went to there. I saw them play again against Milwaukee. They won by 100 again. Very impressed. I gave them out on WagerTalk programming plus 190 to win this conference tournament. And here we are. And I'll got to be honest, this is not the matchup I wanted to see for them. Like so I still like my bet plus 190 for them to win. I still think they probably find a way here, but this is not the best matchup they could have asked for. The reason is Northern Kentucky is a scrappy team that can shoot the three a little bit, and that's like really where I'm worried about. I'm worried about Youngstown State being able to match Northern Kentucky's intensity. That was my big takeaway from their game against Detroit, the quarterfinal game. I felt like Detroit kind of played harder, and really, if Davis wasn't trying to get that record, Joe, I don't know if Youngstown State would still be in this tournament, because that was a terrible last few minutes of Davis forcing shots up when they really controlled the game with a better sort of team effort. So I do think Youngstown State gets there somehow. I don't like the idea of laying 4, but what I can see in this game is points. And for a couple of reasons. One, Northern Kentucky plays a lot of zone, and Youngstown State thrives against the zone. They're 4th nationally with 83.1 points per game. They take good shots and they make them. 11th nationally in field goal percentage. They're an elite 3-point shooting team. They're like top 30 in the country in 3-point shooting. So they should get their looks here, and they're probably going to make them. The problem is their defense. Their defense is where they've struggled this year. Like when they struggle, it's usually just miscommunication on defense. When I watched them play Milwaukee, they must have got lost on the pick and roll 7 times. And they still won by 30, but the point is they just had guys running free to the hoop. In this case, Northern Kentucky, they will their way to the basket. And Youngstown State struggles with that. So I'm worried that Northern Kentucky is scoring with them, which puts me on the over here because it's not that big of a number. So if you have to bet this game, I can't condone laying 4 with Youngstown, even though I think they find a way. But I do think the over is a pretty good bet because I think you're going to get your scoring from Youngstown State, and I think Northern Kentucky is good enough off the dribble and proficient enough shooting the 3-point shot where they're going to hang around and make this a good game. So the over, the number was a little bit low there. I lean over. That's the strongest take I have here. And Joe, hopefully for my sake, the Penguins get through. But this is going to be a tough game for them. I'm not they're really going to have to battle to win this one. I do think there's going to be points either way.
All right, liking points either way in this one. Some really great and intriguing matchups for sure here this evening across the card in college hoops. Again, it is a $9 Monday, so all three of these guys, their best bets up, locked, loaded, ready to roll here at WagerTalk.com. Just go visit their pages, and of course, you can get any college best bets, as well as, like Merrill was telling you, multiple plays here, whether it be NBA and or college hoops. Those plays are up right now, $9. Head over there and grab them at WagerTalk.com. All right, moment of truth here. Not the biggest card, but a lot of meaningful games here tonight. You got to love urgency in sports. And damn, if we got some urgency tonight, Merrill. So lay it out for us here. Which one of these games on the card tonight do you like a little bit more than the rest?
Going to give you my top college basketball recommendation for Monday night for free here in just a moment, a top opinion in college hoops. And that's because the two strongest plays tonight, my two official best bets for my clients, are both in the NBA. A 2-for-1 special. It's $9 Monday, which means you can get them $9 each, or I made a 2-for-1 combo, so it's $4.50 Monday when you get the 2-for-1 special. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Don't forget also my college basketball selection Sunday contest is ready right now. Enter right now. Went up to a free year, a $2,000 value of my best bets. Pick enough right. Selection questions like who's the higher seed, which teams will make the tournament. It's a fun contest. It's free to enter, and best of all, you can win up to a full year of best bets. Enter it right now. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. For free. Let's look at a free college basketball play. This is my top opinion tonight in college hoops because it's 7 Eastern on ESPN2. The Sun Belt Conference Championship. What do they have? Like 14 teams in this conference. They've been playing since Tuesday, but I point that out because the finals tonight, we have number 8 South Alabama against number 2 seed Louisiana Lafayette. And South Alabama, both teams are playing 3-3 nights now, but South Alabama had to play the extra game, the 8-9 game back on Thursday, which means they're now playing their 4th game in 5 nights. So they're inferior team. They lost both regular season meetings in this price range by 3 and 10, yet they're only a 1.5 underdog. I think this line is out of whack. I think Louisiana Lafayette's the better team. They're the higher seed. They won both regular season meetings, and they're only laying a 1.5. So we get them a basic straight up win situation and a little bit more rested. Also like the matchup here. You know, you look back at the most recent meeting, the end of February, Louisiana Lafayette wins by 10 at home as a 4-point favorite. They overcome a 1-point halftime deficit. They shot 49% of the game despite going just 2 for 16, 12.5% from three-point range. And that wasn't a fluke because South Alabama does have a very strong, one of the strongest three-point defenses in the country, 29% allowed. But Louisiana Lafayette does not rely as heavily as other teams on the three. They're efficient, but they don't rely on it. That was shown earlier in the last meeting. I think it repeats itself tonight. And in a game in which teams are playing 3rd and 3 nights with no rest, I want the team that can score down low and doesn't have to rely on the random outside shot with tired legs. A lot of things point to Louisiana Lafayette minus 1.5. That's my top college basketball recommendation tonight for free for you. My 2 strongest plays both come in the NBA. By the way, number 1 ranked on both sides and totals in the NBA in 2023. 2-for-1 special for $9 Monday right now. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
All right, good stuff there, guys. And I know we got Tony Finn here, not only NBA action tonight, but some college basketball as well. And tell us what the game you circled for us here on the show is.
The game I circled was Cleveland State.
Ooh.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah. Listen, I'm not one that would typically go this route or take the high road. I would take the low road typically, but I'm going to go with the team I think that has a better offense in this game tonight. And Cleveland State, listen, Cleveland State's been really good recently, really, really good, better than they've been all year. They're coming off that 75-70 overtime win against Robert Morris quarterfinals, 28 for 60 overall. The 3 of 14 for the 13 from the 3. Was kind of subsidized by the 20 free throw attempts they took and hit a nice percentage. Here's the deal: 39 minutes from junior forward Anunua, if I pronounced that right, because I don't watch a whole lot of this conference, although I'm a big Cleveland State fan. I'm going to go with Milwaukee, Wisconsin. B.J. Freeman, 27 minutes, 29.6 rebounds, 3 assists. This team is scoring. They're the 38th ranked, according to KenPom, effective scoring machine in college basketball. And I think they do that tonight. They do it with assists too. It's not an isolation offense. So they've been offensively dominant, almost 80 points per game and giving up about 15 less than on average. Give me the Panthers tonight in a closely contested game, according to the line, according to the odds makers. I like the Panthers to win convincingly.
All right, there you go. Great stuff there as we're going to get a little Wisconsin, Milwaukee plus 2.5 on Cleveland State. Ralph is probably cursing you out right now, but come on, Trig, talk to us, man. Which one of these games did you circle for us tonight?
Joe, I think there's going to be points in that Youngstown State Northern Kentucky game. I hope for my sake and the future bet that I made that Youngstown State comes out on top. But I think the more likely outcome in this game is going to be points up and over the total, which I think is low. As I talked about earlier, Youngstown State is excellent at shooting a zone out of a zone. Northern Kentucky likes to play a lot of zone, and we've got the Penguins fourth nationally in scoring, 83.1 points per game. They're a great three-point shooting team. They take good shots, 16th nationally in field goal percentage, and I think that they're gonna get the shots they want against Northern Kentucky today. What I think could be an issue for them is the amount of points they give up here. Northern Kentucky can get to the rim, and Youngstown State has been vulnerable against teams that can do that. And Northern Kentucky, they're also a respectable three-point shooting team where I think they could get some dribble drive and kick in this game. And if they can knock those shots down, they're going to hang around. And I think that that's going to put this up and over the total. So, Joe, I don't do a ton of totals, but I actually think that this one is one of the ones that I've liked more in recent memory. So I'm going to go with the over. Youngstown State, Northern Kentucky. I just think we see a ton of points in this game. And one way or another, this one's going to get up and over the total.
All right, liking to go up and over the total. Let's see what our friends over at the Gold Sheet have tonight. It looks like they're going to go with Weber State taking on Sacramento State in a Big Sky tournament. And they are pointing out that Weber State has won the last 6 meetings in this series, while Sacramento State closed the season not great, losing 8 of its last 10, and also Weber State went 14-7 against the number to close out the season. When you put it all together, Weber State, for our friends at thegoldsheet.com, for a best bet here tonight. And, of course, we encourage you guys to head over and check out thegoldsheet.com. Write-ups on all the games here tonight, guys. Some great handicapping tools available to you over at thegoldsheet.com. Funny they should bring that up because I'm going to stay in the Big Sky myself here tonight, a little late night degenerate special. And I'm going to go about as contrarian as you can here tonight because I'm going to back an 11-win team. I'm going to take Idaho State and the 5.5 against everybody's apparently favorite selection, Montana, because, well, they're peaking. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to throw up. They did just beat, by the way, Idaho State, the number 1 seed in that conference there in Eastern Washington to advance here. In Montana, well, listen, all the pressure's on them. There's zero pressure on a team getting 5.5, and I'll back them here tonight to keep this one a little bit closer than Montana backers are going to like. One more time here, guys. Steve Merrill going Lafayette, lay the 1.5. While Tony Finn says Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Screw you, Cleveland State. He'll take the 2.5 there. Trigg says, get ready for points, guys. Going to be a fun one. Youngstown State and Northern Kentucky up and over that total of 138. I'm going to back Idaho State. I'm going to take those 5 points against Montana. While our friends at the Gold Sheet, they're going to go with the short favorite, Weber State, taking on Sacramento State here tonight. Again, it is $9 Monday, so if you head over to WagerTalk.com, $9 best bets over on Steve Merrill's page, Adam Trigger's page, as well as Tony Finn's page. Guys, go grab those best bets right now. $9 Monday. You got to love it over at WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, that'll do it here for tonight. Of course, we got a lot of fun happening over to the next couple of days. The big boys going at it. Power 5 tournaments underway. We have got you covered all week long, heading right into Selection Sunday. Hard to believe it is here, but yes, it is here. It'll be here before we know it, and we'll see if we can't point you guys in the right direction. So come back and join us again tomorrow. And until then, on behalf of Trigg, Steve Merrill, Tony Finn, best of luck with all the plays tonight, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
How do you like to finish the college basketball season paying under $30 per week? Between now and Selection Sunday on March 12th, there's still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all of the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special that will include the rest of the college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. That's right, from Monday, February 27th through Monday, April 3rd, there are 5 full weeks of hoops action, which breaks down to under $30 per week. Sign up for this promotion now on your favorite handicapper's homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship in Houston on Monday, April 3rd, plus all non-March Madness tourneys, including the NIT and CBI, all for only $149. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experiences in sports. Some call March Madness the most exciting time in sports betting, so act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time. Grab your favorite college basketball handicapper, or perhaps add 2 or 3 college hoops experts to make this March Madness not only exciting, but also profitable. No coupon is needed. Just head to the homepage of the handicapper of choice and lock the $149 price in now. As the earlier you sign up, the more days you receive.